little cute thick black girls going. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yep.
Yo, the rap scene. I am Frank 5D, the anomaly sworn solemnly high snobbity, and the honor is all mine, y'all. As we have a truly distinguished gentleman here, and when it comes to creativity and presence and style and bars, it was like I'm proud to introduce the illustrious, the bottomless vocabulary, the limitless lexicon right here, the greatest rapper ever. Yo,
Oh man, I
Lucius
appreciate
B.
that.
Guggenheim the third. People, we have Columbo Black.
Thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? Live and direct. I'm in Long Beach now, but you know what I mean. My people still in Compton, so I'm always in the city. So, but thank you for having me, brother.
That's what's up, dude. Welcome, and thank you again. How you feeling?
Man, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? I exercise every day. I record every day. Keeps my mind fresh, my body fresh. You know what I mean? And rap is like a martial art to me now, man. You know,
Mm, word.
so that's how I treat it. But it's truly something I love to do. I don't monetize like probably people think I should, but you know, it don't matter to me. You know, I'm about the art. I'm trying to make the greatest rhyme ever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. And that's what kind of gets me so excited, yo, because I get to talk to some of the dopest, amazing individuals, and you are no exception, sir. So
I
again, thank
appreciate
you for
that.
jumping in.
I appreciate that.
So I just gave you some flowers, but you know, let them know in your own words a little bit of who you are and what you do and why that matters.
Columbo Black. I was born in Compton. Really, I don't know if a lot of people know, but I got a real late start with rap. You know, I didn't start rapping until I was about 30.
Hmm.
And so I was a student of it. I always loved rap. And then when I started to do it, I always knew how I wanted to sound. So when I first came out, I was a big disciple of Cannabis. Like he was the North Star for me as far as rap. I'm like, man, you could be smart and sound hard. The only thing with Cannabis is he didn't have the best beat selection. And so I was always a big fan of the soulful sample beats, airy beats, a lot of drumless stuff. That's kind of my go-to because I feel like I can occupy that space and it just the canvas is blank. It's blanker as opposed to a faster beat. I'll do a faster beat if it's hard, but um, you know, I always say, I'm not a rapper. I'm an author. And that may sound cliche or like everybody says, I ain't no rapper, but I really don't consider it rap. Yeah, I do occupy the space of rap, but my ethos, my technique when I write is to sound, number one, it has to look beautiful on paper. So I write it as if I'm talking. It's a conversation, and so it's more visceral that way. And my approach is, it's really literature. It just happens to rhyme, right? Because the content is everything. And so, even if it's non sequiturs and I'm just doing, non-topical raps, it's still a connective thread in there. You know what I mean? So, and I just try to, imagine it, and I don't constrain myself within the template. I'm not trying to sound like the younger crowd. I got my pocket, my lane. I'm good with that. I don't want to be popular. That's not why I do rap. I'm this is my legacy. When I'm gone, I have a bottomless archive. I want to have 1 million songs on that page, bruh. Like they're gonna be like, damn. But bruh, I'm putting out in 1 month. I think I put out 3 projects, 30 songs each. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody, none of Compton. Speaking just Compton, nobody's that prolific. Nobody's been that prolific. I'm proud to say that. I stick my child. You know what I mean? I may not, bro. Of course you're supposed to think of yourself this way, but it's like when they say 10,000 hours, I got 1 million hours, bro. Like I feel like my pen is limit. I could do anything, and so, but I'm still a fan. And it's still, I can listen to niggas and I'll be like, oh, I could rap better than this nigga. I'm like, no, I look as a true fan. Like, I work with Maestro now. Bro, I consider working with Maestro no different. Kendrick just shouted him out bro, I've been saw that. I've been said that. He might be one of the best rappers I've ever heard in my life. To be able to work with him is like working with Jay-Z. It's no different for me, bro. Like, I'm not in awe, I'm in awe of him. Before I met him, I was like, damn, man. this nigga hard, like just walking around, all crazy and like not nobody knows who this nigga is. Like they know now, you know, but
Right. And
but yeah,
that's straight up and down. Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, I mean, the Mike Show is from Compton, isn't he?
Maestro from LA.
Mike
He
Show is
from
from LA.
Yeah, best west of the
Okay.
110.
I think I just always associate him with you, of course, and same with you with him.
Yeah.
Um, but coming up in Compton, talk about it.
So Compton for me was of course, I grew up in the hood they call it's a nutty block, all right, by the Compton Airport. So in the 80s, Compton was it was hostile. It was, my mom was very sheltered, didn't have a pop, so I was raised by all women. I stayed with my mom, my grandmother, and my auntie. My mom was very protective. I play outside. I saw it. I had little rock fights outside, but the gang banging shit, that shit was whack to me. And I'm gonna
Mm.
be honest with you, and people think I be being funny, but to me, when I saw gang bangers in the 80s, them niggas was dirty, bro. Them niggas was dirty, bro. Oh, what, t-shirts and khakis? That's the only play you running? That's
No,
all
and
we that's all we got. That's all we
you
got.
absolutely right. And honestly, I didn't see a whole lot of that. I saw like t-shirts and white beaters. I mean, blue, dark blue jeans and white beaters. Like for
And,
real, it was more to the '90s where that khaki suit started to get integrated and really forefront as the look of a gangster. It,
and, and, and that was kind of like, I don't know that the streets, it just didn't to appeal to me. I didn't see the allure, and so um, I was more in the books. I was in the ball, played a lot of ball, um, and so to me, see, and people think I'm bashing, and I understand. Look, NWA, right? I work with Lonzo Williams now. He's my coworker,
hmm,
the person who founded NWA. Anyway, NWA for me, the music. Look, MC Ren was fire. Ice Cube was fire. You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna be a hypocrite because Conway and Benny the Butcher and 38 Special, Rock Marciano, Bodie James, they all do that low frequency. But to me, the difference is like artistry is artistry, right? But NWA was different for me because I was in the city. It was the music that I would hear playing when I would hear when a bullet came through my wall one night. That was the music that was playing. Gangster Gangster was playing. Literally, like that. So when you hear that echo and you associate that with it has a certain, it don't hit the same for me. So I don't have, and I've always been really my style, my technique, the way that I rap. I'm from Compton, but it's like I was New York. That was the influence. You know what
hmm,
I mean? Curtis Blow, Fat Boys. That shit was fire to me. Rockin came. It was a rap, bro.
right.
Now we had our shit. We had Bobby Jimmy. We had Russ Parr. We had Toddy T. Like the niggas was hard. Like the West Coast had them. JJ Fad. That era was beautiful, bro, for the
Yeah.
West Coast, right? But even back then, bro, like NWA was a anomaly because back then that's when you had to be different,
Yeah.
and the music was fun and niggas was partying, money, parties, women, like not even on the drugs, like it was just fun. And who was the hardest MC? That was, you know what I mean? So Compton for me, it was beautiful to me because my mom created this ecosystem with it was just all family. You know what I mean? So if I went at my house, I was at my aunt Lucille house, who I'm been writing songs about her. She was just dope. She had this big backyard, these two big German shepherds, bro. Compton was different for me. It was, you know what I mean. But I was insulated. You know what I mean. So I was kind of a late bloomer. And like even with women is, I went to a Catholic school all the way through high school. I went to all boys school. Went to St. John Bosco. Then I went to Morehouse, all boys school. But when I got to college, that was 93, 94. Freak Nick. I grew up, man. I grew up, man. I grew up. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I grew up, man. I mean, my first drink was in college, my freshman year. I remember walking at Freak Nick off 2 bottles of Cisco. I never been drunker in my life. It was the best drunk I ever had in my life, bro. But yeah, I'm glad I wasn't in the movie though, because I was outside. You know what they say now? You outside. I was outside, bro.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah,
how it was back in the day. Everybody was outside back in the day. That's how
yeah,
it
but
was.
yeah.
Um, dope, man. I grew up adjacent to Compton, from Inglewood, born and raised. Um, what makes Compton so different from a musical perspective? Not just the gangs, from its like surrounding municipalities, Gardena or Downey or Paramount
Well,
anywhere.
well, for me, Compton was different because, well, people always act like, okay, I'm from Compton, but I was in Gardena, I was in Carson, I was on Santa Ana because I had a cousin in Santa Ana, so I was everywhere. So man, I always been like a real eclectic kind of nigga. Like I had because my cousin was mixed out in Orange County. It was my aunt married a white guy, so I had that world, the OC, and I would come back home from Orange County talking, "Hey, dude," all that kind of shit, right? I was young, but it was just different. So when you got exposure to that, you comfortable everywhere. So to me, growing up in Compton, yeah, I came home, did my homework, rode my bike, but played ball. But I was with family in Compton. But I was like we go to the Gymco in Gardena. When I was in high school, all the cute girls stayed in Carson over in DA by Dominguez Hill. So I was in Dominguez. I went to school in Bellflower, so I know all of Norwalk, Bellflower, Downey, all that shit. So Compton, yeah, Compton was Compton. But yeah, Compton had its own personality. Um, Unfortunately, gang banging was a part of that. The 80s, the crack to 80s was a part of that. So that was unfortunate to see black people like that,
Mm.
Nickerson Gardens. I didn't dare go to Watts, bro. Back then, bro, we never went to. I had a godmother in Watts. We go to her house and come right back home. Watts wasn't no joke. Like I ain't gonna
people,
hold you.
people, people from the other areas, like people from Inglewood. A lot of people, think the same of Compton or thought the same of Compton.
But
My
but, but I
my girl used to her a bunch of her family lived in the Nickerson, so that's the only reason why I would go over there at all, honestly. And
but
too
I
many
tell you,
sheriffs too, too many damn sheriffs. Nobody want to go over to Compton.
lot of shit. But I tell you something else about Compton that people don't know, because I'm not gonna sit here and paint my city as really all bad. Because think about this, Compton, you got to think of, what is it, Richmond Farms, whatever. They got horses over there. We
Mm-hmm.
have an airport. We have an airport. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like Compton is really a beautiful city. Nobody says this about Compton. Think about this. Think about this. Compton is why they call it the hub. Compton's 30 minutes from everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Downtown LA, Orange County. Um, if you want to go down to San Pedro, you're close to everywhere. You 15, 20 minutes from the beach. Compton is really prime real estate, bro.
Straight up and
White
down.
white people stayed there.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe stayed in Compton.
Same for Inglewood, man.
Yeah, Inglewood. I mean,
Um,
come on.
so, but I was asking, like, musically, because we have our cities in hip hop in this thing of ours that tend to speak to their artists like no other place in the world. We have our Brooklyns, we have our Comptons, we have right now our Buffaloes, I guess. We have our Atlantas. What is it about our Louis, our New Orleans? What is it about Compton? Why does it birth like just so many dynamic artists?
Um, because with all its faults, Compton has a very rich how can you say, the texture of the demographic is really really rich, because you got a lot of people like my family. We're southern transplants, Ohio, Alabama. You find a lot of people like that, like the older of those baby boomers, them dudes from the south. All these people, all them in Pyru, Nutty Block, all those older people, they from the south. They from Baton Rouge, Shreveport, you know what I mean, Tulsa, all them places, Ohio, some Midwestern transplants. So you got a lot. People don't say or think that about Compton. Like even if you watch those old gangbang documentaries, you feel like, oh yeah, his family, they were from Michigan and they flew out to
Right.
Compton and they transplant. You know what I mean? And then you know what I mean. And so to answer your question, musically, I just think you have like it's a lot of culture. You know what I mean? And so when you have kind of a mixture of crime and even high culture, because you had artists coming out, people who did the gardens, people who did, you had a rich eclectic kind of thing, almost like the Crenshaw district,
Right.
that whole old culture. We
Hmm.
had that here in Compton with the black people. It's still there. It's a lot of pride in Compton. So I think the artists, somebody like, obviously, Kendrick, he went artistically, his genius is he takes all of that and he packages it so well, kind of skates on that gang bang kind of space, the good kid, and it's funny because it and I feel like Drake, he gets a bad rap for this. It's like, okay, I'm not from the streets, but you could still be in the streets. I was around gangbangers. I was around ne'er do well ass niggas. Like, you know what I mean? You know types. You got homies, but when to weave in. You know what I'm saying? I was at the house parties, but I knew if I saw certain niggas walk in, oh, I gotta bounce.
Right.
So I think when you have Kendrick who can embody that middle ground, like, no, I'm not a thug, but I'm not a square nigga either. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
a regular civilian to shoot you. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's
Right.
just they don't want to rap about it. It's other shit to rap about. So and Kendrick, he just took that and Kendrick is really clever, man, because he throws in these kind of black power tropes. He's not really going inbounds. He's not really being deep. He's just throwing out some key words for you, but there's a genius in that. And so
Yeah.
but then you got some guys who say, look, I'm gonna go with what the city leans into. So you're gonna have your gang. You're gonna have all the other most other artists, especially if you're a young nigga come from Compton, they go in the gangbang angle. That's just I don't know why niggas is afraid to be smart. Even and I don't even consider that a young nigga old nigga thing. I just consider that um an artistic choice that people are making.
Yeah, I believe
You
that
know,
too. To a degree, I guess, because America does have a thing for this gangster shit, and
it's
and, and
sexy.
it has affected a lot of the youth, in different ways, and it affected us in different ways. Like, I had my challenges growing up in an area in Inglewood, California, where there was, gangs everywhere. There was one gang, but it was everywhere, and all I had to do was just cross one line, and there was the other gang, clear and present. Like, was it hard for you at all to like sort of steer clear of these pitfalls, and of the lifestyle of being from the hood and from any hood that's in the hood?
It wasn't hard because I was either in the house. We had a pretty big yard, and all I did really, bro, I was working out. I was doing push-ups. I'd run down to the college. Dominguez Hills was down the street. So I really wasn't in the hood. I didn't hang around no niggas that was on bullshit. I hung around mostly athletes. Um, and so, no, it wasn't hard. Like, um, but I was very fortunate in the fact I had a mom who cared, like a really stand-up mom, and everybody don't have the good fortune of having a stand-up mom, like a virtuous, like really, she's real Christian, bro. Like I'll never live up to her expectations. I'm like, damn,
Hmm.
the nigga gotta have a little sip or something, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so it wasn't hard, not for me, but I know I'm probably unique in that fashion, and
Hmm.
I've always been, bro. I'm the type of person, and some people may call me opinionated or whatever, but my mom always told me like, don't be a follower, and I always took that shit to heart.
Hmm.
People see you as opinionated or contrary, but I'm the type of person you can't just tell me something. I'm gonna ask you questions, and people don't like to be questioned. I've
Right.
found that as I've gotten older, and so I don't mean it to offend, but you just can't tell me something, and that's what it is.
A lot of the
So
times it'd be because someone just told them something, and like,
right,
they get offended when you actually like try and understand, because they don't really understand, and it's
that's
like
all.
a subconscious, like, call out, like, really a thing, straight up and down, especially in this, this instant gratification, society that we live in. Everybody's like this, like they just read what they just told you, and
Absolutely.
they can't just run back and be like, hold on, let me look for it and tell you what I'm talking about. Um,
Yeah. Hey man, I use the empirical method. I mean, that's the whole basis of science. If you make a statement, everybody's gonna try to do. You're trying to disprove it as much as you can, so it can stick as theory, and nobody ultimately can disprove it.
Right.
So I kind of use that way. It's kind of counterintuitive and makes make me seem like a dick sometimes. I'm working on it. I'm a work in pro. I'm a work in progress. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I mean, it just speaks to, like the intelligence that you portray, like straight up and down. We need more representations of Compton, you know, like
Yeah.
you, straight up and down. And that does really suck because, like, there are a lot of these echo chambers that just really pump that stereotype of what is going on there. Like in Inglewood gets the same thing. Inglewood is always up to no good, and I've
Right.
I've had
Right.
to correct a few people a few times. Like, yo, Inglewood is actually up to plenty of goddamn good. Like,
Right.
at least from my standpoint and what I've contributed to there, and just kind of resent that Inglewood always up to no good. So many people
Man.
throw it at me, and I'm like, and again, I've had my challenges. Like, if I would have been from a gang, you probably know the gang from Inglewood. I probably would have been from that one. You know, I
Hey.
won't say that I'm affiliated, but there were plenty of times when it could have just happened.
Hey. Let me tell you something about Inglewood niggas. Now that you say this, right? It's funny. Man, I just had an epiphany. Most of the niggas I know from Inglewood are enterprising. Okay, look at you. Like, right? You enterprising. Jeff. Jeff has owned about three businesses since I've known him.
Mm,
Popping. He had a retail store. He opened. Raekwon was in there. Nipsey had an
word.
open store. Like, Jeff got it popping. DJ Quest. Um,
Shout out to Quest.
Polly Rob, all them niggas. Like, everybody I know from Inglewood be moving, bro. They be getting motion, bro. So yeah, absolutely. Kudos to y'all, man. Like I couldn't let that go without saying. Yeah, big up to DJ Quest, all them. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy.
Straight up and down. Yeah. Shout out Quest. Shout out Rob. Shout out Jeff. Everybody who you just named.
All them. R.I.P. Red Rum. Red Rum before he passed away. He was,
Right.
he was getting nice with the camera. And Red Rum was an older dude, but I love Red Rum, man, because he was like a great example. I've been around Spider Loke. Spider Loke, man, he not from Inglewood, but just to show, I've been around different types of elements, and it's always been beautiful because they always accepted me for me.
Dope.
Even when I was with Spider Loke, and I'm in there with a bunch of gangbangers, you know what I mean? Sometimes Cam be in there. I see Papa Smurf, Piper, all these niggas, Bigfoot, rest in peace. But they always they dug my shit. I go in there with all my rap books, kind of college grad and all that shit. But they always respected the art, and that always validated me. You know what I mean?
Rest
Um,
in peace.
even be able to work with Battle Cat. The fact that Battle Cat knows my music. Battle
Shout
Cat,
out. That's big. Yeah.
bro, that's these are shit. That's pinnacle shit for me. I don't gotta sell a million records. I'm checking off my bucket list. I got me a song with Tri-State. You know what I mean?
Dope.
Man, I'm Tickle Pink. Planet Asia calls me all the time. Like that's my homie now. So my
Word.
journey has been like really beautiful, bro. And like I got no complaints.
That's
So
what's up, man. Beautiful perspective. For real. Beautiful perspective. Especially with knowing, you from your rhymes.
right,
um
right.
straight up and down. You did mention that you hung out with athletes more. And
Hmm.
you don't just love, but you have a relation to the game of basketball. You're related to
Yeah,
the
that's
the
my
living
sister.
legend. Yeah, the,
Yeah,
the living legend herself, the one of the most celebrated era defining athletes that we know of, the
Inglewood,
Morningside High School phenom,
Inglewood.
the world champion,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Yeah,
the
yeah.
three-time MVP, the first player to hammer it home in a WNBA game. You see, I got my spark. I got one. I got a spark thunder stick. I got a couple more
Absolutely,
that ain't blowing up.
absolutely.
That's my team. That's pretty dope, man. You think I might be her type?
Oh man, she married, man. She
Ah,
married, got two beautiful kids. You know what I'm saying? I got nieces and nephews now. I didn't even know she was my sister. I didn't really meet her till about maybe 10 years ago.
oh, word, tight.
Yes. And but man, she's a beautiful person. We actually really a lot like um It's so hard to get her to like any of my songs. She, hey, look, man. Hey, bro, let me tell you something. I'll be sending her songs. She be like, "No, that's not it." She's like, "No, that's not." Cause she like a certain kind of song, and I'll be watching her. And so it just recently I did a song. It was my last post when I did my performance with the band, and she said, "Yeah, I like that one." Finally, I was like, "Yeah, I gotta get a goddamn band for her to like my goddamn music." No, man, that's big. That's big sis, man. I love her. I love her to pieces, man.
That's tight,
Absolutely.
man. You
Yeah.
know, don't. But yeah, I
And
ain't
I'm
going.
in awe every day. Every day I think about it, I'll be like, God damn, I see Sister Lisa Leslie. That's crazy, bro.
Hmm, hmm.
That's crazy. But yeah, I love it. I love it.
Like it, there is like a. I feel the same way, like being adjacent to such greatness, you know, and just in whatever time I had, being able to soak up any game, or just being able to be real and soak up a real genuine human being, like you said. And we all
Absolutely.
we all love Leslie in all our hearts, yo.
Oh
She
yeah.
um she has a couple retired jerseys,
Mm.
and if we look at the regions or like prominent cities in this thing of ours in hip hop's, who are a few MCs that may have retired jerseys?
Retired jerseys.
Say from let's start with LA. Just a few, like, and we're not talking about like the greatest of the great, just the people who did what they needed to do to get Team LA where it needs to be.
Um, Snoop, and you know what? I'm never. I don't have to agree with it, but NWA, like you can't talk about the West Coast without NWA. Dr. Dre,
Hmm.
Battle Cat, Warren G,
Hmm.
uh, and then you got. I'm gonna give you some names people might not know. Okay, and I don't care if people think I'm biased. For me, Maestro, like Maestro is known on the West Coast. To me,
Mike Stroh's
Maestro,
dope, man. Mike
and
Stroh's dope.
Bad Luck, of course Kendrick, Game too, Game,
Ask.
Pac Div.
Ah.
People
Hmm.
don't talk about Pac Div enough, bro.
No, they don't. Or the nonce.
Hey, bro, if the people, hey, Light did production on Good Kid, Mad City. You got a Grammy, I think.
Really? Didn't
I
know
believe
that.
so, or nomination. But I think he got a Grammy for that song, for that "Sing About Me." I think
Dope.
I might be wrong, but yeah, man. So yeah, those are retired jerseys, man.
Hmm.
We need Pac Div energy back. I used to. That's when I used to love going to see their shows. They be out Silver Lake. You know what I'm saying? Shutting that shit down. Diz Gabron and all them niggas. You know what I mean? They're my brothers. Yeah, man.
Shout out the Pacific Division, yo.
Shout out Pac Div, like Mibs. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God.
I'm going Murs.
Of course.
Throw Murs
Planet
in there.
Asia. Planet Asia.
Planet Asia. Well, I did say L.A.
Well, LA.
He's from Oakland, isn't he?
Look, Planet Asia. Planet Asia funny though because he's one of those because he from Fresno, but
Fresno.
he'll be in New York, he in LA all the time. He be all up in Lamert, so he
He be
kind of
in Atlanta, don't he? Don't he be in Atlanta too?
so. But yeah, he's not strictly LA, but I feel like I'm missing some. What's them dudes' name?
We're missing a
Oh,
bunch. Like they're just we
X
can't
Clan.
cover. X Clan was from LA. I didn't know
Ain't,
that.
ain't Brother J from LA?
I didn't know.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe because I always see him in LA. So maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. But yeah, those are pretty much the ones that got the retired jersey. Though. Snoop, you got to retire Snoop jersey.
Yeah, you got to
You got to
retire
retire.
Ice T's.
Who?
Ice T.
Oh, yeah, you got to retire Ice T. Who's understated? Really? Ice T's really understated.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. We would again. All of these are like probably their own episode. Atlanta. Who gets their jersey retired?
uh, um, Outkast. Obviously Outkast. um, Goody Mob, um, Ludacris. Who else from the A? I wasn't a big Jermaine Dupri fan, to be quite frank with you. Those are the ones for me. Those are the ones for me.
Young Jeezy.
I was never a Jeezy fan.
Me either. T.I.
Eh, I like to hear T.I. freestyle more than I like to hear his albums.
So none of them get their jersey retired from Atlanta.
Yeah, you gotta retire Ti. Yeah, you gotta retire their jerseys. I'm just not. I just don't listen to their music like that. But yeah, you gotta. I respect their legacy. Ti,
Okay.
come on, Ti is the man. Yeah,
Word.
T.I. So
I semi like T.I. I can really name him any of his record stuff.
I can't leave. But when I hear him, he be hard. Like when I hear him on the Maybach Music with Rick Ross, like he go off. Like you know what I'm saying. So yeah, Ti is up there.
Queens, New York.
Oh man. Okay, look. Queens, New York is really only two for me.
I'm partial to Queens MCs, honestly.
I'm partial to Queens MCs too. And some of them I really don't know all the bros like that. But the two best out of Queens, hands down, Nas and Nature. Nature hard, bro.
Shout out to Nature, lightweight friends of the show. Shout out Nature.
Nature don't get his flowers, bro. Nature was hard. He was going toe to toe on all of his verses with Nas. He might have had, in some of those instances, he had better verses, and that was hard because that's when Nas was in his baggy bag.
You know what was crazy is I was a part of the mega camp back in that day. From what I knew,
Mega was hard.
I was young, but you know they had the replacement with him, and I didn't hate Nature at all. I had to give it up, you know, but just something was in me that I hated not seeing Mega, you know, there.
I get it, Mega. I give you somebody else. Oh my God, $500,000. $500,000 was hard. I don't know if he was from Queens, but he was on all you know what I mean? Yeah, $500,000 was hard.
I don't either. Is $500,000 from Buffalo? What's happening? I'm disrespecting right now. Wait a minute.
Other than Queens, I couldn't tell you. You know, of course, Biggie, Jay-Z, Brooklyn, of course, right?
$500,000 was from Brooklyn.
Maybe so. Yeah. Like I don't be knowing a lot of the but you know, New York, man. New York had you know, Busta. Come on, Busta was a king of the East Coast for a cool 5-year period for me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't nobody better than me, Busta.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from either. I don't really be known. It's the ones, you know. I guess I really just know a lot of Queens. Like I'm retiring Prodigy. I'm retiring. I want to say AZ is from Brooklyn too, but he's so closely associated with Queens.
Right.
Who's I mean, I guess Nori. Isn't Nori from Queens?
I wasn't a big Nori fan. Wasn't a big fan of his style. He worked on some tracks, but I wasn't buying a Nori album.
Yeah, I'd retire his jersey. I'm the same way. I really used to rock the NORE album and the Capone Noriega stuff too. But yeah, it was always something about him. He was kind of whack to me, but I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, Wu-Tang. You know what I mean?
Well, they're from Staten Island. Yeah, they're not from Queens. Yeah. Shout out to Queens.
But I think more than anybody, to me, musically, they're the most impactful group out of New York for me.
The Wu-Tang Clan.
The Wu-Tang Clan, absolutely.
Why? Tell me more.
Number one, and they really didn't, but to get 9 niggas on the same page I mean, it's impossible. You know what I mean? But they made they made it work, and they made it work in a really special way. They created a whole universe, like with their music, with the 5% imagery, you know, and the undertones. It was really they more than anybody, probably, I would say nobody has done it. Wu-Tang is a culture.
Yeah, I'd say no group, per se, but I would give the native tongues that respect also.
They were.
They weren't a group, they were a collective,
It
but
was a collective. It was
right. But I'd still give them that, you know.
yeah, you're right because, and I was gonna say because they did the same thing too. Because like Wu Tang influenced dress, they influence language, they influence music, they influence pop culture, animation. You know what I mean? Like they brought in the martial arts. I mean, it was marketing wise, that shit was goddamn genius, bro. That
Yeah,
Wu Tang shit, it still resonates today. You can be in the Netherlands and you might see a Wu Tang logo in the graffiti somewhere on the wall.
straight up and down.
Bruh, what? Come on, man. I would love to have that. If I could have any rapper's career, kind of digressing, I'll take MF Doom's.
Hmm.
As far as far as
Tell me why he went through a lot in his career. What's up?
okay, MF Doom has a level of popularity. Like number one, he's an impeccable rapper, and he's recognized for that. But then you have the whole he created a universe for himself. A borrowed universe he took from Doctor Doom, but he created his own. And the one thing I hate about Stardom, bro, is like I would hate to be Kendrick Lamar, right? Because you can't go to the mall. You can't go to the park. You can't go play ball. You can't just walk down the street by yourself without bodyguards, without, some weird ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want that. It may seem cool. I wouldn't want that, bro. And I'm not paying for no bodyguards to take me everywhere. You know what I mean? So no. So I'll take MF Doom. MF Doom could walk in Target right now. Nobody would even know.
Every artist that puts on the mask kind of like talks about that and appreciates that. Like Great God out of Buffalo or Syracuse, I think. No, he's from Buffalo. Yeah, he wears the mask and he, dope dude. Is there any like, would Lucius have ever started out putting on a mask?
Well, that's kind of how Fabian came about. You know what I'm saying? The alter ego. At first, I was wearing a wig, and then I started doing a mask, and I liked that. And then I started going with the ski mask, and I started getting them customized. And now I'm trying to build like a little universe with that because it's really comic booky type stuff. And so and it's only a few people have really caught it and like kind of pulled me. Actually, it's one of the few times I got recognized. I was at the Lakewood Mall. And a dude like just like Columbo, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, that's how you know somebody, you know what I mean? If he don't remember my real name, Columbo. And I was like, hey, what's up, Woody Woo? And he was just telling me, he was like, man, you're an asshole. I was like, why? And he was like laughing. He was like, man, that fake Bonaparte shit is like my favorite shit in the world. He's like, it's like nobody really realizing like you kind of shitting on people, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, bro, thank you so much for getting that. It's the most beautiful thing for me as a fan for somebody to really get what it was. It's Saturday Night Live, and it's the easiest shit to write for because you just want to be as absurd. Now I used to do like gunplay and drug talk, but I was like I had to clean it up so it could be more palatable for different audiences. So I got way too luxurious and just made it real kind of upper crust. But I still do I add in the ratchet shit. But the mask, that's totally inspired by Doom. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even know that I'm him.
Right. That's good.
And I love that. I love that. And I'll tell them, I'm like, yeah, that's my cousin.
He's fucking like player extraordinaire, yo. But never like afraid to ignore the ladies and I'll just tear the mic down like splendorously above everything and able to flex and finesse at will.
Yeah, watch your girl. I take a lot from Drake. I mean, as far as like being with niggas' girls, taking niggas' girls. That's always my funniest trope. Is that's the biggest flex is being your Wi-Fi connected to hers when you get to her pad and shit. Like, just ridiculous, preposterous type shit.
It's funny, man, and it's fun for real.
And that's the point. I want it to be fun, and that's the point.
Heard That's what I'm talking
I
about, man.
appreciate that.
I knew I was excited to talk to you for I don't know how long. Yo, are you still battling? Because you brought a lot of that to battle. Are you still battling?
I don't battle anymore. For the most part, because just the way battle rap, the culture just changed. The leagues are different. Um, it was a lot more fun when there was a lot less business involved and just a handshake, like, oh, okay, pay me 100 for the battle, cash app, boom, boom, boom. But now it's a lot more, and it's like it's just a younger crowd, and not even that. Um, I don't feel like having to memorize 3 rounds no more because it was a lot.
I can
It,
imagine.
it took a lot for me to memorize because I'm working full-time jobs and I gotta, but I like to, if I got a month, I'll because I wasn't writing nothing. I would just repeat it in my mind. So I'd be at work talking to myself all the time. And so, and it's one of those things. But I always use the battle rap as a way to promote myself as a rapper.
Word.
But it was also a way for me to prove myself as a rapper because it's like now, like if a person like come at you crazy, like oh we could battle, like I could really battle you,
Right,
or
right.
we could battle on wax. And so I feel like that's me doing all the necessary. If you a UFC fighter, you practice boxing and you practice wrestling. You practice your ground game and coming from the from the shoulder. So that's all it was. It was great exercise. It helped me with my memory. And the best thing battle rap did for me, it made me an excellent public speaker in my regular job. Because now when I go in front of people, I'm not nervous no more. Like I feel super comfortable in front of people because battle rap, you're going into an environment where they want to boo you. And then they want to say, they always thing with me because I was probably the oldest nigga in most of the rooms. They always had the age jokes and shit like that, which I didn't, you know what I mean? That wasn't into me because I could still out rap 80% of those niggas.
Okay.
So, age don't matter when skill is involved. That levels the playing field. I ain't no. No, I'm you know what I mean. I'm coming in there with the motis in betweens, all that shit. I'm doing all that shit. Same moti for the whole round, all that kind of shit. And it was all jokes. And that was the thing. I was never taking it seriously. Like I really would have liked to give him my chance to kind of take it seriously and write a real round instead of just writing shit I could remember and that was funny.
Well,
So,
that's it tracks. I guess is what I'm trying to say because, like I was saying, it felt like a lot of Fabian energy went into a lot of those
absolutely,
rounds for real. Like
absolutely,
you were above every battle. even,
absolutely.
even when even when they was getting in you, that you were just like, you're right,
It,
and
it,
it
it,
was funny to watch. It really.
and it's funny because you have to understand, like, I really am an older guy on the stage, and so I'm looking at these guys, and like everybody, even when they come in the room, like it's this whole thing, like you gotta have your rapper face on, and you're seeing these guys playing tough. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Like these niggas are really in here, like trying to play tough. And they get on stage and they start puffing up and bow everybody a headshot, and they kidnapping your mama and your kids, and then they robbing you. And I'm like, damn. And I'm my round. I'm talking about recipes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and and I think they really, if they really knew what I was doing, they probably would have felt disrespected. But um,
You took a little bit of flack for it, and you addressed it too, straight up and down.
yeah, but it was fun, and man, it's the art, bruh. It's
Huh,
the art, and I was always proud. Like, damn, I remember my shit, and I didn't choke.
tight.
You know what I mean? And then you get the performance part of it, and
Mm.
I just felt like, man, it helped expand me as an artist, and like I wouldn't be who I am as an artist, as an individual, even in my job as a public speaker, if it wasn't for battle rap. That's for real. I tell my mom that all the time. Absolutely.
Honestly, I can imagine that. I think it would, you know, I don't know if it would do the same for me, but I always knew that, I probably shouldn't even step in that arena. Like, I got a little bit of history with making music, and my pen's decent. At least, everybody told me it was very nice, but it was decent in my opinion. I can always do better, of course, but I don't ever think I could ever step in the battle rap arena. For real, yeah, I'm not that quick. I like you said, I can't remember shit like that. There's so much. Like I'd be winging it a whole lot, and it probably wouldn't be coming out right. Shout out to y'all and those that do that, straight up and down. Those that can.
Yeah, it's
Um,
hard. It's hard. It's hard.
it seems like you feel. I mean, you were always pretty prolific, with the output, but it seems like it's you feel that time not battle rapping with more musical output. Like you're always working, you're always releasing something. Like, and tell me about the Road Gallery.
Well, Rogue Gallery was it's just it's meant to be fun. The name comes from basically, Rogue Gallery is the coterie, the assemblage of whatever hero. That's his gallery of villains. So I'm the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And but the group is more about the contrast between me and my alter ego, while I'm just more of social commentary, more witty stuff. It's still kind of flossy, but not vulgar. I try to do as minimal amount of cursing as possible. Um, so it's all upper crust, but it's just the contrast and the style. It's just a way to get my shit off. You know what I mean? With Fabian, I can say anything. Columbo is more straight laced in the pocket. More fun, kind of quirky, rap about anything. So it's really kind of assemblage of all my inspirations, like your MF Dooms. Like I'm kind of a mix of all those. Your Black Thoughts, MF Doom, Cannabis, Jay-Z, Nas, all my favorite shit, because that's the stuff I draw from. And in anything I see fresh, I draw from. Like it's not imitation. It's analyzing all the best shit and be like, damn, how can I, how can I do it? And really it's funny because if you take one verse, right? Suppose you write a verse down on a page and you give it to 10 different rappers. They're gonna all sound like 10 different songs. Right? I mean, suppose they don't know each other. They don't know I sent it to them. They don't know each other. I just sent them to random people across the nation. Some person, they're gonna put inflections, the cadences, and that verse gonna sound totally different, and you would never know it was even the same lyrics from them. So, when you think about that, if I'm doing my best Cannabis, I may be actually doing a style that I heard on a Cannabis record, but you would never know because I did it my way. I may have timed it different. The motifs are different. I've done that when I was younger. I don't do it no more because I just wanted to be all me. But when I was first starting, I would do that a lot. I would listen to somebody and do my best version of them. And more often than not, it was Cannabis, Black Thought, MF Doom, and Nas.
Very nice Rogue Gallery there. Very nice I guess not so motley crew of MCs. Pretty dope, yo. It honestly sounds like an art exhibition between featuring Columbo and Fabian. Like it feels like you guys are just showcasing like some of your finest works. Like I think I'm into part one more than the hint of nostalgia, but I love them. I love them both. Honestly,
I appreciate it.
Great work, yo. You're also working on the Black Ellington.
Black Ellington, that's from my brother Luke Ellington, who I actually went to grade school with from like kindergarten to 8th grade.
Wow.
So we ended up, he grew up in Compton, and just over the years he honed his skills. He's a magnificent producer. And so his feel is we're doing like strictly grown up, classy stuff. You probably won't hear no cursing on none of those records. It's all stuff you could play at the the Neo Soul Lounge and all that, the little jazz clubs. Like we incorporate my homegirl Rain, who's an amazing artist, who she's traveling all over the place, and she got me on her record and got me. That's how I got up on stage with the band. That was her song. But yeah, Black Ellington, I'm excited because it's music for my age group. You know what I'm saying? It's music. A lot of younger people might not be their thing. I think the musicality of it may draw it to them, but it's really just adult things, adult music, feel good music, positive music.
I am Frank 5D, so I know I'm gonna hear it before anybody else does. No, I'm joking. But no, like for real, when the project's finished, just send it over to me so I can re-record it as my own and like just release it on my my old MySpace page. I'd appreciate that. You know? But no, yeah, honestly can't wait to hear it. Shout out Luke Ellington.
Shout out Luke.
You tell me about what's up with the bartenders.
The bartenders, man, we are at the point because we got so much stuff going on in our life. I got my new job. He got his daughter and so forth. And he got a new. Really, we stay working. It's just our releases aren't as frequent. But every now and then, I got a track. Actually, I got to finish tonight that he sent me that we're working on with one of our producers. So, bartenders is always in the mix. We got a summertime release coming out. We're gonna re-release our summer joint. Plus, we got some new summer hits coming. So bartenders is always in motion, and I feel like our best work is yet to come because we only perfecting the craft, and I'm really into more storytelling. I feel like more stories need to come back in raps. You know,
Hmm, hmm.
because stories have always been, as far as even humankind, stories have always been, the main conduit through which like we communicate the best messages and kind of
Right.
like preserve our culture.
Pass
So
down traditions
yeah,
and teach the knowledge. Yeah.
yeah, using music as a time capsule, that's my method.
Straight up and down, man. I love to hear it for real. And
Okay,
I'm not your average audience goer, yo, but I just love the merge of mediums that you bring. Honestly,
I appreciate
straight up
that.
and down. Um, we've been on for a minute, so we want to kind of try and wrap up. So it's time to ask the hard hitting questions. Columbo
Okay,
Black.
okay.
Here we go. Who, what, why, when, and where? No, I'm joking. Um, but yo, how many bars do you have?
Bottomless. It's no limit.
Um,
It's no limit to the combinations of words and rhymes that can be made, and I'm gonna try to exhaust them all. So rappers ain't got no more rhymes to rap.
Straight up and down. What I'm really asking is how many of them can I steal? Like, no.
Oh man, shit. Let me know. I'll send you some reference tracks. I got stuff to go, bro.
I
It's
bet.
bottomless.
I bet, man. I can only imagine, yo. Um, another one of my greats in this thing of ours. He calls himself the boy with a billion bars. Just so I
Okay.
just have to figure out where rappers can gauge their bar count. You know,
Oh, okay. Okay.
bottomless is the first time I've heard that. Straight up and down. I'd expect no less. I wanted to
Let
ask.
me hey, let me put it to you like this. If I stop recording today, and I'm not embellishing at all. If I stop recording today, I could probably drop three 30-song mixtapes for the next 3 years every month.
Every month.
Every month.
That's a lot of material.
I'm selling myself short. I may be able to go for 5 years.
5 years. Every month, a
We
30 record project.
we're talking terabytes of of data, bro.
I listen to a lot of these songs and I'll be like, why aren't they longer? Why is it, what is it, like more reps, less weight? Is that like an equation that you're bringing to this?
Well, because the concept, unless I'm really, and somebody say, okay, make an album with all full thing songs. Okay, that's fine. Um, but the the reason behind it is because the albums are stream of consciousness. They
Mhm.
are they are. I go where, okay, I feel like boom. If I'm at the 130-minute mark and I feel I got my shit off, boom. I may be a 1 minute and I'll put a hook on there. I may do one, put a hook on there and put another verse. It depends on where the feel. I go with that feel of that day. I go with the feel because um, it takes me about 15 minutes to do a 2-minute song. It's 15 to 20 minutes to write it out.
Okay.
Um, and sometimes I'll write them in my car on the way home. And sometimes it'll be a whole song. Sometimes, what I mean, I'll be working out and I'll be typing while I'm working out between reps, stuff like that. And so it's always in motion, like always. Like today, I think I wrote like 4 songs today. I have one full song I wrote today with 2 verses, 2 hooks, everything.
Hmm.
And it just depends on the field. Um, Going forward, the next couple of Road Gallery albums are going to be full songs. Probably not as they're going to be full songs, but not as many songs on the album. So maybe 20 as opposed to 30. But they're going to be full songs.
Dope, man. I hope it didn't sound like I was complaining at all. Always feels so natural. So like, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Like don't make anything feel forced, especially with the upper crust that you're baking.
I appreciate it. No, but I listen because I don't write for myself, so I do listen to that input, and I definitely try to give people who pay money and listen and come to my site and pay attention to me. I want to acquiesce, and I'm always up for the challenge. Oh, you want longer songs? Boom. I might go back to doing 100-bar songs. I used to do 100, 300-bar songs when I first started. You remember that? Remember when niggas was doing that shit? That was my shit right there.
Yo, man. Thank you. Honestly, do whatever. I'm watching it, and we want to support it with everything that you have going on. That's what we're fucking talking about, dude. It feels like just yesterday when I advised you to start rapping, and you did, dude, for real. No, Columbo Black, thank you again, man. I can't thank you enough, and we can't take up all your time. So
thank you for having me anytime, brother. Thank you. You can find me on Instagram at Columbo Black, and all my works, my whole archive is pretty deep. I think it's about 85 releases on there right now. At columboblack.com, and we got a bunch of free downloads. So please check it out. Spread the words. Tell your folks about Columbo Black, Road Gallery, the Bartenders, Black Ellington, Luke Ellington, the whole collective. Still appeal, man. We're not going nowhere. The summer's ours. Y'all can set this one out, fellas.
Set this one out, y'all. Anyone who's actually planning on, stepping up, just calm down. No, but follow Columbo Black, y'all. Or we gonna cross your name out on every train that we see it written on. Straight up and down. Follow me, Frank 5D, on any app you can tap. We're gonna keep it moving, y'all. Positive energy activates constant elevation.
For sure.